and 9 times out of 10, when I would do Larry's makeup, he would be eating food, and food would just be like popping out of his mouth and spraying out of his mouth, and it's just like god awful. Yeah. So, yeah, there are more stories, but I don't feel comfortable to tell you the other stories that I refused to do. Anywho, I ended up going back to Live Oak and then realizing, okay, I'm not happy here. I've got to go out and see the world. And so I called one of my professors in Atlanta, and I'm like, help me. I gotta get out of here. And she said, well, do you mind like a menial job? Are you okay with that? I'm like, yes, I'm okay with that. So my professor got her hair done at a very posh salon up in Atlanta called Williams Salon. And she said, I can get you back up here, but you've got to like sweep floors, wash towels, like show me everything I'd have to do. I'm like, great, good, let's do it. So I came back up to Atlanta, and yeah, I was like washing people's hair, sweeping floors, doing laundry, whatever. And so I didn't mind at all. So lo and behold, there was a lady there that Williams Salon catered to, and her name was Susan Lasovich, and she was an anchor for CNN. And so as I'm washing her hair, I'm whispering to her, like, who do I need to talk to, to do makeup for the show? And she's like, her name is Ramona Horton. And poor Ramona Horton, I literally called that woman incessantly, like day in, day out. And finally she was like, oh my God, okay, come in. I'll give you an interview. So the gentleman that she said to me, this is Patrick Greenlaw, do his makeup. He's due on set in 3 minutes. Go. So did his makeup. And after that, she said, you're hired. Well, because I was low on the totem pole, I was just, the grunt. And
Larry, you're saying Larry King was a grunt at CNN at that time?
not at that point, because I was only in Atlanta at that point, only in Atlanta. But so yeah, so I need to speed up. So it became, because I was the low man on the totem pole, it became my job to do makeup for people on the weekends. So in order to work there, I had to do Larry King Live on the weekends. And then they called me and asked if I would fly up to DC and do makeup for Larry King in DC. So I did. They basically sent me there. Oh my God, my dad is snoring. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so long story short, got the job, moved to DC, and yeah, so I have more funny Larry King stories, but yeah, so that's how I became part of wrestling. Was I had to do makeup for wrestling on the weekend. Every ring rat ever would show up on Saturday and Sunday mornings in hooch bagooch outfits. And yeah, and so that's how I started with the company.
So how did
So
you
you
get
said you got a funny story, Larry King. Share one funny story about Larry King. I
Well, I've
want
already shared
to laugh
one
on
with
Larry
you.
King.
The one of the funniest ones was me telling him that he looked healthy after having just had a heart attack, and he looked god awful. He just was god awful. And yeah, and then there used to be a thing called the not Turner Games. What was it called? Shazam. Hold on. Uh, uh, I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, long story short, it was basically like the Olympics, but only in the States, right? And so I called Larry at home and I said, Larry, I really want to do this show. And unfortunately, he said to me, you'll take care of me, I'll take care of you. And I was like, I'm gonna have to back out of that one. So yeah, no. Um, so yeah, it was just, 9 times out of 10 when I would do Larry's makeup, he would be eating food and food would just be like popping out of his mouth and spraying out of his mouth, and it was just like god awful. Um, yeah. So yeah, there are more stories, but I don't feel comfortable to tell you the other stories that I refused to do. So tag in, go
did you
ahead.
enjoy working with Larry King?
Larry was funny as hell. Um, I don't know what part of him thought that his 8,000 years, being 8,000 years old, was going to have me choose to do that in order to do the Goodwill Games. That was the name, Goodwill Games.
A Goodwill game, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
now,
like,
in fairness, Larry did have about 38 wives, didn't he?
or 39 or 39. Yeah. Yeah. But I did hear from a lot of the ladies there that he was a very well endowed Jewish man. So I don't know, but I just heard stories. So
Breaking
yeah,
news. It's breaking news.
breaking news. Yeah, I decided that I did not want to reverse that situation. I just said, you know what, tag out. Yeah.
So Larry was a ladies' man, if you don't mind that.
Well, what John just told you, Larry. Yeah,
Yeah,
Larry
Jerry, he
had
was
one
married
million
like a
wives.
ton of times. I mean, so like a
Yeah.
yeah. So
I
yeah,
did not
that
know
must have
that.
been. Well, you saw him; he's a great interviewer, so he had the gift of gab.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the great thing. The great thing is that he would be given his little sheet of um, you know, some facts, but I love the fact that he just, was off the cuff, man. I thought that was great. I still think that's great. I think it's horrible when people are too prepared. I love when people are off the cuff. So yeah,
Larry King was a great interview. I mean, he had
he
during
was.
back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, for those that don't remember, younger people that are watching, he was the
Yeah.
go-to guy. He got everybody. He got all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
stars. He got all the
Everybody. Yeah.
politicians, everybody, and he was good. He was a really
He,
good interview.
he didn't get
I will.
Terry Runnels though.
No, he didn't.
No, no, and I will tell you another funny little story. So, and I forget which story this was, but it was like breaking news, and we were in an edit bay, and it was like, you know, we didn't have time for him to go through everything and look through everything. So I'm sitting there crunched in an edit bay that they're trying to feed him as many edits as possible. And I'm a little girl, but there's not a lot of room for me. So he literally says to me, it's so gross. He says to me, he goes, Terry, I'm tired. I'm like, say what now? He goes, I'm sexy tired. And I'm like, excuse me, what? Say what now? He goes, I'm sexy tired. And I was like, so what does that mean? You're sexy tired. He goes, like, um, well, I feel sexy and I'm tired. Eh, eh, eh. No. So yeah, I was grossed out yet again. But as you were speaking of, John, yeah, you know, he had the gift of gab and he did well. And yeah, but I've never heard anyone say to me that they were sexy tired before.
Jerry, have you ever been sexy tired?
Not that I might recall. I can't recollect a day I've ever been sexy tired. I've been sexy and I've been tired, but I don't think I've
I don't
ever
know if
been
I've ever been
physically
sexy. I've been tired.
tired.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with you on
You're the spoon. You're the spoon. Stir that shit up, and there you go.
that.
Right there you go.
Okay. All right.